Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Emergency Management Associates. I'm going to wait just a minute for YouTube to catch up to us right now. We should be on the air in just about a minute here. Welcome everyone that is going to be joining us here on the Emergency Management Associates Network tonight. We appreciate each and every one of you for being here. What's that?
Or if they don't do anything about COMET, then they need to see what they can do to get Blues out of there.
I agree. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates, coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We appreciate each and every one of you for being here tonight. Dustin Cadwick was the first one making it in tonight. Ring of Light Crafts is here. Demon Catman, one of my best friends from the east of England. Welcome, Dean. We appreciate you. Renee Steffi is here. Thank you so much, Renee. And everyone, Renee has been asking for some time if I would make her a mod. And today, she and I had a conversation together, and I'm adding her as a moderator on this channel. I appreciate her willingness to serve. I appreciate what she's done to help this channel out. So we've made Renee a moderator here on this channel. Annette Louise is here. Thank you so much, Annette, for being here. Holly Flowers is here as well. Thank you so much, everybody. We appreciate each and every one of you for being here on our channel tonight. Now, I want to talk to you about what's been happening a little bit everywhere. Again, Hurricane Burl is no longer a hurricane. It's just a storm that's gone up through the United States now. It's now over by the Great Lakes. We told you it was headed into Illinois and Indiana, and that's exactly what has happened. It has carried all that storm, all the thunderstorm and tornadoes up towards the Great Lakes. We've been told about the hurricane's strength. It was a storm, a class 1 hurricane, a category 1 hurricane. Now it is just a regular storm carrying thunderstorms and tornadoes. It's now reached the Great Lakes, Illinois and Indiana. We are going to probably continue talking about it to see where it goes. We believe it's going to go right up into Canada now. Okay? So that's what we're planning on seeing. Okay? I want to emphasize this, that it is also going into Canada as we believe it is. That's what the forecasters say. My good friend Laura Marie is here. Thank you so much, Laura, for being here. NCWQ Rebecca is here. Thank you so much, Rebecca. We appreciate you being here as well. Richard Smith from the good place of Nova Scotia, Canada. Richard Smith is here as well. Thank you for being here. Hurricane Heather is here, the squad leader, the mod squad leader. Hurricane Heather has been here since the beginning. Don Patoka has been here since the beginning. Renee, you should have gotten a wrench here. Let me go back here and make sure you're going to have a wrench here. Okay, you've got a wrench, Renee. You should have a wrench. I hope to shout Renee has a wrench now. I hope. Anyway, guys, we appreciate Renee's willingness to serve. We appreciate what she's done for this channel. We appreciate what she's done for everybody here, giving us information and also helping everybody here in the chat. We appreciated it, okay? We very much appreciate Renee's service to the EMA channel. God bless you in your service. God bless everybody for being here. Again, Hurricane Burl is no longer a hurricane. The storm is now up into the center north part of the United States, crossing into Canada through the Great Lakes region. As that storm goes over the Great Lakes are cold. the storm is not going to pick up any more power going over the Great Lakes. However, because of the cold water of the Great Lakes, it may contribute to the storm completely breaking up. So that's what we believe is going to happen. Okay, we believe it's going to totally break up now, and it's not going to bother anybody in Canada except bring them some rain. We've had heavy thunderstorms and tornadoes as the storm hit the coast of Texas, and it's moved its way up through the United States. Tornadoes have broken off. As we've told you before, as that tornado spins, excuse me, not tornado, as that hurricane spins, it throws off thunderstorms in the outer bands of the storm. That's what happened. It's thrown off those thunderstorms, and in those thunderstorms, in those outer bands, it throws out those tornadoes as well. That's what happens. Okay? That is what has happened. We've seen tornadoes all throughout the United States as a result of this storm. Now it's going to completely break up, I believe, over the Great Lakes. Okay? That's the story anyway right now. Anyway, I want to talk about a few other things here. I hope you all will bear with me as we talk about these other things. I want to talk about a major earthquake, and I believe it was a major earthquake. Let me bring up our map here. Just a second. Let me bring up the map here so I can show you. There was a 6.7 earthquake south of Africa earlier today. A 6.7 earthquake. Okay? That's just 3 percentage points less than a major 7.0. Okay? Let me show you this earthquake. I've done some research on this earthquake. You see South America there, you see Africa right there. This earthquake down south of Africa over here on the Antarctic Ridge. Okay? This earthquake right here. Okay, this was a 6.7 earthquake. I've done research on this earthquake. Folks, I've gone to the back seismologist study page. Again, USGS is not showing any seismic stations reporting that earthquake. They're showing one. They're showing one. But they're showing absolutely no details from that one station. The next one was a 6.2. They're showing a 6.2. They're showing 39 stations reporting that 6.2. So I went over into the details showing that earthquake. But this was not a 6.2, it was a 6.7. Those 39 stations reporting this earthquake just south of Africa only showed 5.9, 6.1, 6.0, 6.57, 7.0, and 8.33. This was a 6.7 earthquake. This was a 6.7 earthquake. Nothing more and nothing less. Okay? Now, the antipode of that quake is something else. The antipode of that quake takes us over here into the Gulf of Alaska, right here. Takes us over the Gulf of Alaska. What is the antipode? If we were to go directly from that earthquake south of Africa through the earth, directly through the center of the earth, it would take us here to the Gulf of Alaska. We've had some minor shaking here. Of course, USGS is not going to show us that shaking. However, you saw all the earthquakes that we reported all over Alaska here yesterday. Okay? 3.4s, 3.7s, and a 4.0 here in southwestern Alaska, right here. Okay? Today, right there. Right here, this is a 4.1 earthquake. A moderate 4.1 earthquake. They are saying it's 101 kilometers southeast of Halibut Cove, Alaska. Southeast of Halibut Cove, Alaska, here in the Gulf of Alaska. Now, this may be just a minor shock. Yes, it is a moderate earthquake. But if this 6.7 earthquake develops here in the Gulf of Alaska, it may develop as a 5.5 earthquake. It will not be a 6.7. If that 6.7 goes all the way through the earth here to the Gulf of Alaska, it's not going to be anything greater than a 5.5. Okay? I'm just telling you that. Okay? We don't have any other major earthquakes here in Alaska. Up here in the Arctic Circle, this is a 2.7 earthquake in the Arctic Circle here in northern Alaska. A 2.7 earthquake near Hambler, Hambler, Alaska. 121 kilometers northwest of Hambler, Alaska. It's here in the Arctic Circle. You can see the Arctic Circle here because this is the tundra. This is the tundra of Alaska, the Arctic Circle. Now there's something else that you need to know about. Okay, let's go over here to the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, you see Iceland here. Let's do this. Okay, I'm going to reduce the size of the map. They've taken it down. Right here. This is Svalbard that belongs to Norway. This bunch of islands here is called Svalbard. Okay? This group of islands here belongs to Norway. Last night, about 6:10 p.m. last night, Eastern Time, in Svalbard, there was a 4.5 earthquake here. Now, I've come to find out that Svalbard here is occupied by about 2,000 people. Only about 2,000 people. There are Norwegians and Americans mostly here. There are some people from Greenland that came here to Svalbard. There are some people from Iceland that also came here to Svalbard. But most of the people are either Norwegian or Americans. Now, I want to tell you something else about Svalbard. Okay? I've known for a long time that the Europeans have housed seeds here. Seeds here. Seeds for replenishing the earth in case there was a major destruction of the earth. There are seeds of every kind here underground. Deep underground in Svalbard. These seeds are for replenishing the earth if at some point the earth gets destroyed by a comet, an asteroid, or a bomb. The seeds are stored here in Svalbard, deep in an underground tunnel. Okay? I thought I'd pass that information on to you as well. There's two other places. One is in the United States and the other is someplace else in Europe. Okay? Seed storage in case the world disappears as we know it. All right? I want to share that with you. I think it's important information. Okay? So we told you about a 6.7 earthquake south of Africa on the Antarctic Ridge. We told you about the 4.5 over in Svalbard last night. Now, why am I mentioning it to you now? Why am I mentioning it to you now? Folks, this is important. I want you to be able to pay attention here. This is very important. What is going on? You're going to find out from seismograms ago, I'm going to show you that these earthquakes showed up on seismograms on the New Madrid Fault and also on seismograms on the East Coast. Okay? I'm going to show you seismograms from New Madrid and also from the Eastern Continental Divide. Now, before I talk to you about the Eastern Continental Divide, and yes, I'm going to talk about the Eastern Continental Divide first. What is going on? Okay? In the past weeks and months, I've told you that the Mid-Atlantic Fault is expanding. The Mid-Atlantic Fault is expanding. this 6.7 earthquake may come back down here to the south and west and go up the mid-Atlantic fault here. It may go up the mid-Atlantic fault. Today, this morning, this is over on the southern mid-Atlantic ridge. This is a 5.1 earthquake. A 5.1 earthquake, 6.2 kilometers deep, or 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep here. Okay, on the mid-Atlantic ridge. If this earthquake goes south and west, it will go up here through the mid-Atlantic ridge. But right now, I believe this earthquake will go up here into the Indian Ocean. I think it will continue up here into the Indian Ocean. I believe this may turn into a 6.0 earthquake here in the mid-Indian Ocean by possibly tomorrow or the next day. But it could come up here through the mid-Atlantic. The mid-Atlantic fault is expanding. Okay? It is expanding. There's a huge fissure here, a huge undersea ridge here in the mid-Atlantic. It is expanding. That expansion is pushing Africa and Europe in an easterly direction. It is pushing North America and Greenland in a southwesterly direction. That is why we're having earthquakes here on the East Coast. It is also doing something else, and we've been talking to you about this recently during the past 6 to 8 months. It is splitting Iceland in half. You notice the mid-Atlantic fault? It goes right through the center of Iceland. As a result of this fault's expansion, it is expanding here in Iceland. It is causing fissures to open up here in Iceland. They believe those fissures will one day split the continent of Iceland apart. Okay? I just want to bring that to your attention. One of the reasons we keep seeing earthquakes here, and they're not reporting any earthquakes here, but there are. There are plenty of earthquakes here in Iceland. As a result of that mid-Atlantic split here, it's splitting Iceland in half. And at some point in time, we may see Iceland as two different islands here. Two different islands. With the expansion of the plate here in Iceland, we're also seeing volcanic eruptions. We've been seeing it here over in the Reykjanes Peninsula right here. We've been seeing it for quite some time here in the Reykjanes Peninsula. The volcanic eruptions started here in the southern Reykjanes Peninsula here. A lot of people traveled up to 2 hours after they parked their car, getting out of their car and hiking into the place where it was erupting. Now that eruption has spread all the way up here past Grindavik. We talked about Grindavik last night. Earthquakes keep happening here. We are going to see another eruption of lava here very soon, possibly in the form of 2 weeks' time. 2 weeks' time. So we're going to keep an eye on it, and we're going to report to you what's happening. But with that split in the mid-Atlantic, we are seeing an expansion. The Atlantic Ocean is going to expand. That expansion is pushing North America and Greenland in a southwesterly direction, okay? Causing earthquakes here on the east coast of North America, including Canada. Earthquakes up and down the coast. Again, the USGS is not reporting anything. They're not reporting anything, which is sad, because I'm going to show you seismograms tonight that are showing you earthquakes here. Okay? They don't want to show them to us. That is where it's so sad. They don't want to even admit it's happening. That's where it's sad. Okay? Again, the USGS is not even thinking straight, in my opinion. The politicians are telling USGS not to say anything, to be quiet. But when the earthquakes happen, and they're going to be very large, mean quakes, USGS is going to have egg on its face, and they will not have been reporting anything, and I believe they're going to deny the presence of anything going on. They've already been doing that. I think they're going to continue. Okay? I believe they're going to continue here. Now, before I get into the earthquakes here, I'm going to start here with the East Coast. Then I'm going to go over here to the New Madrid Fault. Okay? Before I get started with that, I want to actually ask all of you to thumbs up this channel. Thumbs up lets YouTube know that we care about this channel. It lets YouTube know that a lot of people want this channel to continue. YouTube takes several algorithms into consideration to whether they're going to allow anybody else to see this channel. One of them is thumbs up. Another one is the amount of time that people spend here on the channel, and also the number of people that spend here on this channel. I'm warning you. If YouTube wants to, they can eliminate this channel. They've done it before. They've done it before. Right now we have 42 thumbs up, and I appreciate that a lot. Over a year ago last April, YouTube took this channel down. The channel had 25,000 subscribers, and YouTube took it down because YouTube and the present political administration in Washington, D.C. did not want us to talk any longer. They shut us down. Almost immediately, within a day or two, I opened up another channel. So far, they have not done anything except take one program of ours down, and then they end up putting it back up. Renee Steffi, one of our mods here, and I talked earlier. We had talked one night about volcanoes. We talked about volcano preparedness. We talked what you do before, during, and after a volcano. Within 24 hours, they took that one program down. They ended up putting it back up. We did not do anything wrong. Again, YouTube is governed by the political administration. The political administration's been hounding us. They've been hounding a lot of other channels here on YouTube. They've taken Glenn Beck off YouTube. First, they demonetized him. Then they took him down. YouTube does not like political commentary. YouTube does not like us telling the truth about earthquakes or anything else. Heaven forbid the people have a right to hear information. Heaven forbid the people have a right to information. I have never lied to you. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to put up false information, and I will not allow anybody here to put anything in chat that's not true. We took down somebody yesterday that was putting up false information. Okay? I will do it again. If anybody here wants to put up false information, we will take it down immediately. I will also not allow any of our mods to be chastised by anybody here in this chat. Not now, not ever. I will also not allow anybody to come in this chat and chastise me or chastise this channel. Not now, not ever. Okay? My mods are very well aware of this. We don't tolerate nonsense here. We don't tolerate trolls here. We put up information every night, and I labor many hours during every day to pull up information for you to have in the evening. I start gathering information as soon as I wake up. As soon as I wake up. My wife is always also on the lookout for information and passes it on to me. Okay? Even I have my wife, a wonderful woman, helping me with this channel, encouraging me with this channel, encouraging you guys. My own wife comes here in the chat, into the chat room itself. She cares about each one of you. She cares about the information we have for you, and we greatly appreciate that. Ed Brookshire is in the chat, says he is looking for information. I appreciate that, Ed. I hope to be able to give you information every night here. Please, folks, if you do come here, please subscribe to this channel. About 25% of people come to this channel do not subscribe for whatever reason. Folks, we have over 5,300 subscribers right now. Imagine if we got that 25% of people that haven't subscribed and they subscribe here. Imagine what that would do. Not only would it give more subscribers here, but it would also show people that we care. It would show that everybody here is here for a reason. I don't know why people don't subscribe. I put out good information. I always do. Okay? There is no other channel on YouTube that does it like me. My dear friend Rebecca, NCWQ Worldwide News Disaster Explorer, attempts to do what I do. And she does a good job. She has her own channel. Okay? I highly recommend her channel as well. People ignore her for whatever reason. She has very few subscribers. If you don't know who NCWQ Worldwide News Disaster Explorer, go over and check out her YouTube channel. She does a great job. But there is nobody else that even comes close to doing what we do. Yes, some people report earthquakes. Some people report weather. Who else puts up emergency preparedness information as well? Who else talks about emergency preparedness kits? Who else talks about water? Who else talks about water and other things that people need to survive during emergencies? Who else talks about volcanoes? Who else talks about volcanoes? I do. Rebecca does. Folks, I want to make sure we have this information because if nobody else has it, somebody's going to die. Somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody will get hurt. And that's the last thing that I want to have happen. Yes, I know it will happen. But the more information we put out, the less likely it is for people to get hurt. We're going to continue doing this, and we always ask all of you to pass the information on to other people to make sure we get this information out. Okay? Rebecca and I work hard every day. Okay? We work hard every day for all of you. So please, guys, check out our channels, pass the information on to your friends, your relatives, your extended family, your neighbors, everybody. Okay, we'd appreciate that. Anyway, going on here about what is happening here in the Mid-Atlantic. The Mid-Atlantic fault is pushing North America in a south-southwesterly direction, creating earthquakes from Canada south here into Mexico. It's happening. It's happening. I'm going to show it to you tonight. I'm going to start with the East Coast first. Okay, right here. Let's start here down in Georgia. Usually start up in Virginia and such. Let's start down in Georgia tonight. I want to show you what happened in Montrose, Georgia this morning. Look what happened. See that earthquake here? See all these wiggly lines here? That is the earthquake that hit south of Africa, the 6.7 earthquake. The 6.7 earthquake. It actually happened closer to midnight. And I don't know why on this and several other seismograms they show it this late. It happened just before midnight last night. Okay? But they're showing that. I'm thankful they're showing it. But here, okay, this seismogram started at midnight. This black line here represents midnight over here on the left-hand side. We're showing the earthquake down south of Africa here. Right here, 7 a.m. this morning. 0700. All of the seismograms go by military time. This is 7 a.m. this morning. This is 7:15 on the red line. The blue line is the 30-minute mark, no matter where it's at. The green line is a 45-minute mark, no matter where it's at. The black lines are always the top of the hour. Here after 7:15, we're starting to see 1.2, 1.3, and larger tremors here. These are all tremors. All you see here are tremors here. Okay? That's what's happened over in Montrose, Georgia. But guess what? It's not going to stay that way for much longer. I want to show you what happened this afternoon. Yes, we had more tremors, but guess what? We also had some minor earthquakes. This is a 2.0 earthquake. This is a 2.0 earthquake this afternoon. This is also a 2.0 earthquake here. Tremors causing earthquakes. 2.0 to 2.9 earthquakes are minor earthquakes. And that's what we're seeing here. Minor earthquakes. Okay? Montrose, Georgia. Montrose, Georgia. Let's go over to Savannah, Georgia. I want you to see this. Look at this. Again, they're showing the earthquake south of Africa this morning. We have tremors before that and tremors after that. But what happened later this morning? Again, look at these lines. Look at these individual lines here. You're seeing a lot of tremor activity, right? Absolutely right. But all of a sudden, those tremors turn into minor earthquakes, such as this, just after 7:01 a.m. this morning. 7:01 a.m. this morning. Okay, I'm sorry, not 7:01, 7:16 a.m. this morning. Right over here. Now we're talking about 7:21 a.m. this morning. This is about a 1.5, 1.6 tremor here. But we're having not just tremors, we're having earthquakes. Look at this. Actually, right here. This is a 2.2 earthquake. These are tremors here. We're having right over here a 1.8, 1.9 tremor here. Right here, a 2.0 earthquake. Here it gets larger. Here it gets larger. This is 10 a.m. here on the black line. This blue line is 10:30. We come over here to 10:34 this morning. All of a sudden we have a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake, minor earthquake. 2.7, 2.8 earthquake here. Look what happens here. Right here, just after 10:34 this morning. This is just one earthquake. Shortly after that, just minutes later, we have multiple earthquakes here. Multiple earthquakes here. This earthquake sequence lasted about 45 seconds. Okay? Right here. Coming down here to just after 11:50 a.m. this morning. All of a sudden we have 3.0 earthquake. We believe this was a 3.0 earthquake. When I pulled this seismogram, scientists were wondering and scratching their heads, they said, about how strong this earthquake was. When I pulled this earthquake, many people were wondering. The final situation came out as this was a small 3.0 earthquake. But again, it lasted 30 seconds. The shaking lasted 30 seconds here in Georgia. Okay? The southern part of the United States. The southern part of the United States. Okay? The Mid-Atlantic Fault is pushing on the United States and Canada. That's why we're getting these earthquakes. Right? Let's continue here. I think you're going to be blown away by what we show you. Savannah, Georgia, this afternoon. Look at this. Isn't this interesting? This is another 3.0 earthquake this afternoon. This is after 1:30, actually just about 1:35 in seconds this afternoon. And it lasted after 1:36 this afternoon. Okay? Another 3.0 earthquake. Back-to-back shaking. That's why you see these thicker lines here. Back-to-back-to-back shaking. It didn't stop. 3.0 shaking here. 3.0 shaking right here. This is after 1:55 p.m. this afternoon. 1:55 p.m. this afternoon right here. That's still a lot of shaking. And doesn't stop. Because right over here, this is 2:29 p.m. this afternoon. This is also 3.0 earthquake here. 3.0 earthquake here. This lasted another 45 seconds. It started right here and it continued for 45 seconds there. 3.0 shaking here. Small earthquake shaking. How would you like to be in a 3.0 earthquake and feel it beneath your feet shaking you? It would be a rumble. It would be a rumble. Okay? That's what happened here in Georgia. Savannah, Georgia. It was a rumble beneath people's feet. It can be quite disconcerting. But this is what happened, guys. And this is not the only place where it happened. This is not the only place where it happened. Let's go over to Waverly Hall, Georgia. Waverly Hall, Georgia. Wait till you see this. Look at this. This was also the earthquake from last night. South Africa. South of South Africa. 6.7 earthquake. 6.7 very strong earthquake. That's why it's showing up on these seismograms. Okay? The rest of this is all shaking. This is all tremor activity except for right here. This is a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake right here. Okay? This is after 7:40. Shoot, what would it be? 7:51 a.m. this morning. 7:51 a.m. this morning right here. Okay? A good-sized earthquake. A minor earthquake, but still a good-sized earthquake here. And these small tremors after that. The tremors are continuing. The tremors are continuing. I'm going to continue here. I now want to go over to North Carolina. Actually, no, I don't. I'm going to go to South Carolina. I want to show you South Carolina first. Okay? Blacksburg, South Carolina. Now, Renee asked me this morning when I talked to her, maybe it was this afternoon, she wondered what all these wavy lines were. I had a chance to look at this. This is, again, the earthquake just south of Africa, the 6.7 earthquake. Okay? Yes, we have earthquakes here. This is a 2.6, 2.7 earthquake here. This is just after midnight last night. Okay? Just about 12:06 a.m. this morning. 12:06 a.m. this morning, a 2.6, 2.7 earthquake right here. This is after 12:15 a.m. this morning. Again, a 2.6, 2.8 earthquake. 2.6, 2.8 earthquake at 12:15 a.m. this morning. It gets better. Not only are we seeing shaking south of Africa here, but we're also seeing continued tremors and earthquakes. This is a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake here. You see tremors here. You see a lot of tremors. We come down here to just after 9:31 a.m. this morning, a 2.0 earthquake. another 2.0 earthquake at 9:36 a.m. this morning. Right here. This is 9:38 a.m. this morning. First, see this long earthquake here that starts, the primary quake here? This is at least a 3.0, 3.2 earthquake. After that, it reduces itself to a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake here. Okay? But another 3.0 small earthquake here. 3.0, 3.3 earthquake right here. Okay? 9:38 this morning. Blacksburg, South Carolina. Folks, guess what? This is Kings Mountain. This is actually a volcano. This is actually a volcano here. This is one of the reasons we are having all this shaking going on, the tremors and the earthquakes. This is a volcano in South Carolina. Okay? Unreal, huh? Did you think that we had a volcano in South Carolina? A lot of people don't even realize it. There are a lot of earthquakes, or not earthquakes. Well, yes, there are a lot of earthquakes here on the East Coast, but there are also a lot of volcanoes up and down the entire coastline. A lot. Okay? That was Blacksburg, South Carolina this morning. Let's look at Blacksburg this afternoon. Look at that. Guess what? What is this? This is another nearly 6.0 earthquake this afternoon. Okay? This is way down in the South Pacific. Look at the tremors here. Look at the tremors here. Catherine Sigerson says there is an unnamed volcano on the west coast of the U.S. There are quite a few There are quite a few volcanoes that are unnamed. I believe they're mostly unnamed because the agencies don't want to name them. Heaven forbid we tell everybody what's going on. Heaven forbid we tell everybody what's going on. When I was in college, I went on digs. Okay? My college geology class took us out on digs in the Mojave Desert. We went on digs where volcanoes were in the Mojave Desert. I picked up obsidian from volcanic edifices out in the middle of the desert. Why? Because there's volcanoes there. But nobody even realizes it. Very few people realize it. Diane Kelman is saying, she's asking, did Rob say there's volcanoes on the East Coast? I believe he did. Okay? There are volcanoes on the East Coast. And in fact, about 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I don't remember the exact time element here, but it was 2 or 3 years ago, there was a 5.1 earthquake in Massachusetts. Boston, Massachusetts. Well, guess what? Later that day, we found out that there was a volcano in Boston, Massachusetts. They even took pictures of the lava. They took pictures of the lava flow there in Boston. They confirmed there was a volcano, and that's one of the reasons they had a 5.1 earthquake in Boston, Massachusetts. Aubrey's asking, Ron, could you explain the variations in magnitude for the newer viewers? The variations are this, okay? The variations are we have tremors. That is seismic energy that's building up to larger earthquakes. Tremors. In this case right here, we have 1.2 tremors right here. These tremors build up. This is a 1.3, 1.4 tremor here. Okay? 1.5 tremor here. They get larger. They get larger and turn into full-blown earthquakes. They get larger and turn into full-blown earthquakes. a 0.1 to a 0.9 are considered to be microquakes. 1.0 to a 1.9 are considered to be tremors. A 2.0 to a 2.9 are considered to be minor earthquakes. A 3.0 to a 3.9 are considered to be small earthquakes. A 4.0 to a 4.9 are considered to be moderate earthquakes. Moderate earthquakes. Now, let me pause here for a second. USGS and the other agencies have been reporting 4.0, 4.9 as being light earthquakes. They're reporting them as light earthquakes. There is nothing such as a light earthquake. I don't give a flying rat's frosty keister. These are moderate, or when there's a 4.0, 4.9, it's a moderate earthquake. They cause moderate damage. Now, I understand why why USBS and the other agencies are doing that. Again, they don't want anybody to understand that these earthquakes do damage. They don't want anybody to understand that these 4.0, 4.9 earthquakes do damage. That's why they're calling them light. But they're still moderate earthquakes. I'm going to call them moderate earthquakes for as long as I live. Okay? I grew up with that, and there's nothing such as a light earthquake. I don't give a flying rat's frosty keister what these stupid agencies say. Moderate earthquakes do moderate damage. Why they call them light, that's a different story. That is a different story entirely. They're wrong. They are dead wrong where they stand. Diane Kellman says it's scary stuff. It could be scary stuff. That's why we attempt to tell people what is going on. It doesn't have to be scary. We try to explain what is happening so you'll understand. The next seismogram I want to show you is from Sumter, South Carolina. Why do I emphasize Sumter, South Carolina when I talk about Sumter, South Carolina? Because, folks, USBS is telling people that there are earthquakes in Logoff, L-O-G-O-F-F, South Carolina, and Elgin, E-L-G-I-N, South Carolina. Well, guess what? The seismograph is in Sumter, S-U-M-T-E-R, South Carolina. The seismograph is in Sumter. What is going on? USGS reports earthquakes in Logoff or Elgin, South Carolina. Today they're not reporting anything here. Nothing. But the seismogram tells a different story. The seismogram is a graph showing the seismic energy. The seismogram is a graph generated by a seismograph. The seismogram tells us what's going on. It shows the energy that is expelled by the seismic energy. Okay? Right here. Right here is 6 a.m. this morning. We see the earthquake down south of Africa here. This is 6 a.m. this morning. Right here, this is just a minor tremor here. 1.5, 1.6 tremor right here to start off. Where did it come from? It came from way over here. See the tremors here building up? Right here is 5:59 a.m. right here. Tremors here. The tremors continue after 6 a.m. here. What happened? The tremors continue for 3 or 2.5 minutes here. They build up here. The tremors continue for another 30, 40 seconds. Then all of a sudden, we have at least a 3.5 earthquake. Notice they cut the top and the bottom of this sequence off. They cut it off. They're doing that a lot, so they will not show exactly how strong these earthquakes are. This was at least a 3.5 earthquake this morning. This is just after 6:04 a.m. A 3.5, maybe even larger earthquake than that. but we're seeing at least a 6.3 here, like, not 6.3, I'm sorry, a 3.3 earthquake here, small earthquake, okay? But it wasn't just one shake, it was multiple shakes. Right here on the left-hand side, we see 4 individual lines. 4 lines back to back. 3.0, 3.0, 3.0, 3.0. Then these lines merge. These lines merge. The shaking doesn't stop. It continues. And then it continues after that, those lines are merged. We have almost 30 seconds worth of shaking here. It doesn't stop. It continues out here. 2.8, 2.9 earthquakes after that. Minor earthquakes. It doesn't stop. Right here, starting right here on this black line, this is 6:05 a.m. The secondary wave, that is the wave after the primary wave. The secondary wave comes out here. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes here. At least 7 minutes of shaking going on. These are micro or minor tremors here. 1.0 tremors out to here. This was at least a 3.5 earthquake, at least. Right here. This is 6:15 over here on the left-hand side. Right here. This is 6:20 a.m. right here. This is another 3.3, 3.5 earthquake right here. Right here. And the secondary wave going out here. 2.5 minutes of secondary wave. 2.5 minutes of secondary wave. Right here, these are minor earthquakes here. 2.5, 2.7 earthquakes here. They're minor. These are part of the secondary wave here. Okay? Right here. This is another 3.0, 3.3 earthquake here. It starts over here with these minor earthquakes, 2.9, 2.8, 2.9 earthquake here, and then it goes into full bore to a 3.0, 3.3 earthquake here. Again, look at this. It continues. Okay? Over here is 7:30 here. Over here. Folks, this is 7:43 a.m. 7:43 a.m. We have 3.5, 4.0 earthquake right here. And again here. And again here. And again here. This is a 3.0 earthquake here. This is after 9:46 a.m. here. This is 9:47 a.m. here. These earthquakes continue here in Sumter, South Carolina. This is a result of the spread of the Atlantic plate. The spread of the mid-Atlantic plate. Okay? It's pushing on the North American plate. Right here in Sumter, South Carolina. Sumter, South Carolina is on the Continental Divide. It's in the foothills of the Continental Divide. That is why we're getting this shaking here. That is why we're getting this shaking. This is Sumter. Sumter, South Carolina. Everyone doesn't even realize we're getting earthquakes here on the East Coast. We are. That's why we're showing them right now. I want to make sure everybody understands what's happening. Okay? Everybody needs to know. Everybody needs to know. Those earthquakes didn't stop this afternoon either. Look at this afternoon. Right up here. Over on the left-hand side here, this is 12 noon here on the left-hand side. 12 p.m. Right here. This is 12:09, just before 12:09 p.m. this afternoon. 3.4, 3.5 earthquakes. 3.4, 3.5 earthquakes here. 3.5 earthquakes here. 3.0 here. This is after 12:20 p.m. right here. Right here is 12:15, this is 12:20. Okay? Right here. The black line here is 1 p.m., 1300 hours. Again, military time, 1 p.m. We come over here. This is 1:13 p.m. here. 3.03.3 earthquake here. We come over here. Over here is 1:15. We come over here. This is 1:18 p.m. Look what we're getting here. 3.0 earthquakes here at least. Right here. This is 2:16 p.m. here. 3.3, 3.5 earthquake here. 3.0 earthquake here after 2:34 p.m. This is 2:50 p.m. here. 2:50 p.m. here. 2.9 earthquake. We come over here. Again, this is 2:41 p.m. here. 3.0. Here, we drop down here. Over here on the left-hand side, this would be 3:30 p.m. here. 1500 hours, 3 p.m. This blue line is 3:30. We come over here. Okay? This is 3:41 p.m. here. Look at these earthquakes here. Again, a 3.5 earthquake here. And it lasts a while, doesn't it? It lasts about 15-20 seconds. 3.5 earthquake here in Sumter, South Carolina this afternoon. The earthquakes didn't stay there just this morning. They continue this afternoon as well. And they're probably happening right now as well. Okay? The East Coast is moving. The East Coast is moving in a big way. Let's go over here to North Carolina. North Carolina, we don't see that much going on. We see tremors. We see tremors all over the place. Just west of me, Murphy, North Carolina. West and south of me is Murphy, North Carolina. Let me show you this afternoon. These are tremors here, except for right here. This is a 2.0, 2.1 earthquake. This is a 2.3 earthquake here. Okay? Over here, this is 4 p.m. We come over here. Okay? 2.2, 2.3 earthquake. This is 209. I'm sorry, 409. 4 p.m. right here, 409 here. 409 here. Look at all this tremor activity here. It's continuing. It continues after 6:15. I'm sorry, not 6:15, 4:15 here. 2.3, 2.4 quake here. 2.0 earthquakes here. 2.3, 2.4 here. And the tremors continue here. The tremors continue until after 4:50 p.m. right here. They're continuing. I pulled the seismogram just after 4:50 p.m. here. Okay? The tremors are caused by the Mid-Atlantic plate expansion pushing the North American plate in a south-southwesterly direction. Okay? Let's go north. Let's go over into northeastern North Carolina. Northeastern North Carolina. Let's go over to Roper, North Carolina. This is just north of Charlotte. Just north of Charlotte. Look what we're seeing here. Again, we're seeing that earthquake south of Africa here. Look at these tremors and earthquakes here. Minor earthquake here, minor earthquake here. Like 2.0, 2.3 earthquakes here. 2.0 earthquake here. This is a 2.0, 2.2 quake here. These are tremors here. 2.0 earthquake here. 2.0 earthquake here. And a lot of tremors. Okay? This is over just north of Charlotte, North Carolina. Roper, North Carolina. Along the shoreline. along the shoreline of North Carolina. Now, I'm going to look here. I think I have some more things here in North Carolina. Roper, North Carolina here this afternoon. Look at this. Look at this. 2.3, 2.4 earthquake here. And tremors. 2.0 earthquake here. Okay? This is 12:31 p.m. here. 12:31 p.m. a 2.0 earthquake. 2.4, 2.5 earthquake here. This is 12:50, I want to say 12:53 p.m. here. Okay? Tremors and earthquakes. 2.0 earthquake here. Tremors all over here. North Carolina's getting hit too. Yes, usually, and yes, we just a few weeks ago when I showed you this, we had full-blown earthquakes here. 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes here in Roper, North Carolina. We do get that here. I have felt shaking here where I live, and I live over in west central North Carolina. We live in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains here. Yes, we do get earthquakes here. About 2 years ago, about 7:30 in the morning, we had a 4.5 earthquake here in Morganton. A 4.5 earthquake here in Morganton. Did I feel it? Yes, I did. I most certainly did. At first, I thought maybe it's a train going through. We have train tracks within about a quarter of a mile, half a mile away. At first, I thought it was train tracks. It wasn't. It was a full-blown earthquake. A 4.5 earthquake. We do get them here. Quite frequently, matter of fact. Quite frequently here. Diane Kellman says we lost audio. Don, Renee, Demon Catman, and Diane is also saying it's back. I'm glad. Okay, so we're having earthquakes here on the East Coast. Not surprising. Not surprising at all. Let's show you what's going on in Virginia, just north of North Carolina. I first want to stop in West Virginia first. Martinsburg, West Virginia. Look at the earthquakes here. Yes, we're still seeing the African earthquake here, south of South Africa. But look here. This is after 1:21 a.m. this morning. This is a 3.5 earthquake in Martinsburg, West Virginia. Martinsburg, West Virginia. 3.0 earthquake here, 3.5 earthquake here. Okay? West Virginia. West Virginia is still right up in the mountains, in the Appalachian Mountains. Okay? That's what we're seeing. That's what we're seeing. That's what's happening. Again, it's the Atlantic plate that is pushing on the North American plate. That's why we're seeing these earthquakes here. Let's go look at Virginia. Virginia. I want to go over to Accomack, Virginia. Accomack, Virginia. Look at this. Tremors. Again, we're seeing the South African earthquake here. But we have tremors before that. And more tremors here. More tremors all morning long. We have had full-blown earthquakes here in Accomack, Virginia during the past few weeks. Okay? What happened this afternoon? The tremors this afternoon increased. Look at this. The tremors increased. The size and the amount of tremors increased here. These are 1.3 tremors here. They increased a lot since this morning. And there's more of them. It's constant and consistent tremor activity, and right here. The size of the tremors increased here. These are 1.3, 1.4 tremors here. Look at that. The increase in tremors is showing us what is going on. The seismic energy is increasing here. Okay? It's increasing. And USGS is still not reporting it. Still not reporting it. How about Corbin, Virginia? I just don't want to show one seismogram. I'm showing you many so you know what's going on. Again, we have the southwest or south of South Africa earthquake here, 6.7. Here we're seeing long-term tremor activity here. Tremors, 1.2, 1.3 tremors here. 1.3 tremors here, 1.3, 1.4 tremors here. Okay? Corbin, Virginia. It's still moving. The ground is consistently moving. Long-term tremor activity. This may appear to be short, but guess what? All of a sudden it gets long-term tremor activity. Long-term tremor activity. Long-term tremor activity. Okay? That's insane. That's insane. But it's happening. Now I went over to Pennsylvania, and guess what? The University of Pennsylvania is not showing anything going on, which is impossible. If all the other parts of the United States south of there are getting hit with seismic activity, wouldn't it stand to reason that we'd see that energy in Pennsylvania as well? Well, guess what? They're not reporting anything. Either they shut off their seismograms or were told to shut off their seismograms by somebody, but those seismograms are shut down for whatever reason. And we don't have any seismograms coming from any other place north of there. Okay? There's one other seismogram I want to show you here before we leave. I went over into Evansville, Indiana. The University of Evansville in Indiana. This is this afternoon. Okay? Again, we're showing an earthquake down in the South Pacific here. Look at the tremor activity here. This is Indiana. This is the northern part of the New Madrid Fault. We're seeing this kind of tremor activity on the northern part of the New Madrid Fault here in Evansville, Indiana. Guess what? The Earth is moving. The Earth is moving, guys. I wanted to make sure you saw that. It's important to know what's going on. Okay? Now, Evansville, Indiana. I'm going to show you this morning. This is Evansville, Indiana this morning. Look at this. They're hiding the South African earthquake here. It's not here. They're hiding it. They erased it from this seismogram. But look at all these other tremors here. Look at all these tremors. This was a 1.7, 1.8 tremor here. Tremor activity over on the northern part of the New Madrid Fault. Okay? How about Illinois? Let's look at Illinois. Stronghurst, Illinois. Let's start there. Look at this. Again, they're showing the earthquake south of South Africa here. Tremors before that. Now, there are also microquakes such as this. There are also microquakes, but tremors after that. Then after they finished covering the South African earthquake here, the tremors continued here. The microquakes and tremors continued here. Right here. This is 6:17 a.m. right here. Long duration tremor activity here. But what happened here? Just after 8 o'clock, we saw 3.0, 3.4 earthquake activity here. Stronghurst, Illinois. Right here. This is a 3.4, 3.5 earthquake right here. This is 8:20 a.m. here. 8:20 a.m. right here. 3.5 earthquake right there. Illinois, the northern part of the pneumatic fault. Diane is asking anything in New York? We don't have anything documented in New York. I will try to find New York documentation tomorrow. I didn't pull anything from New York today. Okay? Stronghurst, Illinois today. Let's look at Fairfield, Illinois today, this morning and this afternoon. Look at this, guys. Again, Fairfield, Illinois. We have long-term tremors here. They're not showing the earthquake down in South Africa. Why? Inquiring minds want to know. Why? We don't know. But we're seeing long-duration tremor activity here. Right here. This is a 1.3, 1.4 earthquake here. I should say not earthquake, 1.3, 1.4 tremors here. More tremors here. More tremors. Okay? More tremors all over this area. A ton of tremors. The northern part of the pneumatic fault. Northern part of the pneumatic fault. Then here, just before noon here, that earthquake down in the South Pacific. Okay? Let's look at Fairfield, Illinois this afternoon. Look at this. Seismic energy continues here. South Pacific. Look at all these tremors here. Okay? The northern part of the pneumatic fault is alive and well. Now, some people may think that nothing's going to happen. I believe that sometime within the next 2 years, there's going to be a major earthquake on the pneumatic fault. Scientists have said that it might be in 5 years or 15 years. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. Judging by all the activity that we've been seeing, I believe that earthquake, the major earthquake on the pneumatic, is going to happen within the next 2 years. I have reason to believe. Okay? I keep showing you all the activity. I keep showing you all the activity. Let's go down into the central part of the pneumatic fault. Let's go down to Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Cape Girardeau, Missouri is where the state of Missouri is where the earthquake is going to hit. The central part of the pneumatic fault. We see the earthquake down in South Africa here. We see microquake activity here until right here. Okay, over here on the left-hand side, this is 11 a.m. here. The tremors start building up here. Right here, they build up to a full-blown earthquake. This is a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake right here. Cape Girardeau, Missouri here. You can see what I'm talking about. Okay? That's not all, folks. There's more. Let's look at Cape Girardeau this afternoon. Look at this. Again, we're seeing that same earthquake down in the South Pacific here. Tremors and 2.6, 2.8 earthquake here. More tremor activity after that. Okay? Tremor activity here. 1.5, 1.6 tremor here. Long-term tremor activity down here. This black line is 1500 hours, 3 p.m. At 3:03 p.m. right here, we have a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake, minor earthquake. Look what we have here. More earthquake activity. 2.5, 2.6 earthquake, 2.7 earthquake here, more tremor activity here. More tremor activity here. This is a 2.5, 2.6 earthquake here, and more tremor activity. 2.0 earthquake here. This is a 1.9 tremor there. Okay? Cape Girardeau, Missouri. This is on the New Madrid Fault. This is right next to the Mississippi River. Right next to the Mississippi River. The Mississippi River is the New Madrid Fault. Okay? Let's show you Barker Cemetery, Missouri. I show this to you as often as I can. Today, and every day before this, we see a bunch of tremors all over the seismogram here. We are not seeing anything after midnight here. Here we start seeing some minor 1.0 tremors activity here. Long duration 1.0 tremors. Long duration tremors here. Long duration tremors here. Then we have a sporadic tremors here, as you can see. Now, I'm coming over here. Okay? This is 7:59 a.m. here. This appears to be a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake right there. 7:59 a.m. here, right before 8 a.m. 8 a.m. is right here. 8:15, we see tremor activity. 8:30 a.m. here, tremor activity. This is 9 a.m. here. We have tremor activity building up to a good-sized earthquake. 3.5, 3.6 earthquake right here. 3.5, 3.5, 3.6 earthquakes there. We have never seen this size earthquake at Barker Cemetery before. Yes, we've seen 2.0, 2.3, 2.4s. We've seen tremors here at Barker Cemetery before. This is the first time we've had something over a 3.0. The first time. Right here. 2.8, 2.9 earthquake here. This is 11:04 a.m. here. First time. 3.0 earthquake here. More tremors and 2.6 earthquakes here. Barker Cemetery this morning. Let's look at this afternoon now. Missouri is moving. The center part of the New Madrid Fault is moving. This is Barker Cemetery this afternoon. This is after 12:05 p.m. this afternoon. 1.3, 1.4 tremors. Right here. This is just after 1 p.m. Again, this is a 3.5 earthquake here. Another 3.5 earthquake here at Barker Cemetery. And no, this is not heavy-duty equipment digging graves here at the cemetery. It's not that. This is actual seismic energy. This here is a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake here as well. This is 1:06 p.m. here. 2.4 earthquake here. This is a 2.3 earthquake here. 2.1, 2.2 earthquake here. Tremors here. Barker Cemetery, the center part of the New Madrid Fault. This is just west of the New Madrid Fault. Just west of the fault, about 20 miles west. It's moving. It's moving in a big way. Let's look at Guam, Missouri now. Lori Van Hoosier is here. Thank you, Lori, for being here. Lori's here again. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate you being here, Lori. Your message was deleted. Let's find out why here. Lori, you can't spell capitals all the way through. Your first word or first letter of your word could be a capital letter. All the rest have to be lowercase. YouTube doesn't like all capital letters. Please don't use all caps, okay? DH is here. Thank you for being here. This is Guam, Missouri, guys. Long-term, long-duration tremor activity here. This appears to be a 2.0 earthquake here. This may have been just below a 2.0 minor earthquake here. Right here. This is over here on the left-hand side. This is 4:30 a.m. here. Right here, this is 4:33 here. This appears to be a 2.5, 2.6 earthquake. However, this isn't. This is a 3.0 earthquake here. Okay? We have 2.4, 2.5 earthquake activity here. We have tremors preceding the earthquakes and tremors after that. Right here, this is 5:30 a.m. here. This is 5 a.m. here. This is 5:30 on the blue line. We have tremor buildups to a 2.8 earthquake here. Tremor building up here to a 2.8 minor earthquake here. And this seismic signals continued for about a minute, a full minute. We had tremors and then full-blown earthquakes here. Down here, 5:45 a.m. here, 2.0 earthquake here. Actually, this looks to be a 2.2. Down here, 6 a.m. here, nothing really but minor, very tiny tremor activity. Right here. Over on the left-hand side, this will be 6:15 here. We come over here. Look at these tremors here, building up to 2.0 activity here. 2.0 earthquakes here. 2.3 earthquake here. Okay, this would be 6:51, actually 6:55 a.m. right there. Okay, 2.3 earthquake probably. Right here, this would be a 2.5, 2.7 earthquake right there. Okay, this would be at 8:13 a.m. here. Now right here, I'm coming down here to about 8:45 right here. 8:45 we see earthquake activity here. We come over here just before that. Okay? This is 8. See, this would be 8:44 a.m. here. Tremor activity building up to at least a 2.0 earthquake here, and it gets larger over here. 8:45 a.m. it gets larger. It looks to be a 3.0 earthquake, but we can't tell because the other seismic activity after that. Okay? Possibly even as close as a 3.0 earthquake right there. Right here. This seismic activity here on this black line is 9 a.m. It came over here. This is 8:58 a.m. here. Tremor activity building up to 2.0 earthquake here and larger here. And that earthquake continued over here. The secondary wave continued for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes right here. So this may have been a 3.0 earthquake here. But right here, on this red line, this is 9:15. We come over here. This is 9:29 a.m. here. Tremor activity building up to 2.0 earthquake and then building up even higher here. 2.8, 2.9 earthquakes here. 2.9 earthquake here. 2.9, 3.0 earthquake here. These are all minor earthquakes here. Minor earthquakes here. This is 11 a.m. here. The 11 a.m. started over here. Okay? This right here is 10:56. At 10:56, 10:57, no, 10:57, 10:58, 10:59, and all of a sudden over here we have more earthquakes at 11 a.m. Unreal, huh? Absolutely. Uncut and picking real. Missouri is hopping. The center part of the pneumatic fault is moving, and it's moving in a big way. It's moving in a big way. Does anybody have any questions so far? I'm trying to be very thorough here so you know what we're talking about. I think it's important. The pneumatic fault is moving. The center part of the pneumatic fault is moving. Okay? Guam, Missouri this afternoon. It continued to move, didn't it? It absolutely did. Right here we have a 3.5 earthquake here. This is I want to say this is 1:07 p.m. right here. 3.5 earthquake here, a 3.0 earthquake here. This appears to be a 3.0 earthquake here as well. Okay, we have tremor buildup over here right before 1:15. Over here is 1:15, 1:16, and you can see these minor earthquakes building up here. Okay, minor earthquakes, 2.4, 2.5 earthquakes, and then we have a secondary quake, secondary wave. Secondary wave starts right here and goes all the way over here. Okay, 2.0 earthquake here. This is 1:49 a.m. or 1:49 p.m. right here. This is 3:45 a.m. 3:45 p.m. here. This is a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake here. We have 2.0 activity all the way through here. Long duration tremor and minor earthquake activity here. Guam, Missouri. Guam, Missouri. It's happening, guys. It's happening all over. Marston, Missouri. Marston, Missouri. This is where we usually see earthquakes listed on the USGS map. They're not listed here. Why not? Marston, Missouri was having 3.0 earthquakes all day. They had tremors here. Tremors and minor earthquakes here. 3.0 earthquake here. 3.0 earthquake here. More tremors and minor earthquakes here. 2.3 earthquake here. 2.4, 2.5 earthquakes here. Prior to this, over here, this is 9:34 a.m. right, 9:44 a.m. right there. 9:44 a.m. right there. Folks, 3.0 activity. 3.0 activity here. It calms down over here at 9:45. We have 3.0 activity here, right here at 11:15 a.m. here. We have about a I'll put this as a 2.3 earthquake here. 2.0 earthquake here. This is a 3.0 earthquake here. Right here. This is 11:11 a.m. here. 3.0 earthquake. Marston, Missouri. Marston, Missouri this morning. Why is USGS not showing this here? Why is USGS not showing any of this here? The center part of the pneumatic fault, and the USGS is ignoring it. The United States Geological Survey is ignoring this. People need to see this. People need to see it. How about New Madrid, Missouri? New Madrid, Missouri is having nothing but tremors here. All these are tremors here. 5 a.m. this morning. This is 5:06 a.m. this morning. Tremors. Tremors all day long here. All morning long here in New Madrid, Missouri. Yes, sometimes they'll list a 1.5 tremor in New Madrid. Sometimes. But again, they're not doing it justice. Portersville, Missouri, let's take a look at this. Portersville, Missouri this morning. Look at this earthquake here this morning. Okay, right here. This is 3:30 this morning. This is 3:37 this morning. We have a 2.0 earthquake here. More minor, probably 1.6, 1.7, 1.8 tremors here, building up to full-blown 2.3, 2.4 earthquake here, building up to 3.5 earthquake here. And they cut it off at the top, and they cut it off at the bottom here. They do not want to show the true strength of this earthquake here this morning. After 3:30 a.m. this morning, 3:38 a.m. this morning, we had 3 minutes of 3.5 plus activity. 3 minutes of it, guys. Why are they not showing it? Down here we have a 2.9 3.0 earthquake here. 2.9 3.0 earthquake here. These are all minor earthquakes here. All these are minor earthquakes here. Why are they not showing them? Portersville, Missouri. This is on the New Madrid Fault. Portersville, Missouri is right next to the Mississippi River. Right alongside the New Madrid Fault. This is serious activity here. This activity is serious activity. This is probably 4.0 moderate activity. If we're already having 3.5 to 4.0 activity here on the New Madrid Fault, can you imagine what it's going to be in a year or even 2 years? We're going to start seeing 5.0 activity here on the New Madrid Fault very soon. We're going to see it. 2 years ago, we were not seeing anything more than tremors. Anything more than tremors. Then began minor earthquakes, 2.0 to 2.9. Now we are seeing full-blown earthquakes. Full-blown earthquakes here on the New Madrid Fault. Unreal. Let me show you Tiptonville, Missouri. Actually, before I'm not sorry, not Missouri, but Tennessee. Let's show you Ridgley, Tennessee before that. Okay? This is over on the eastern side of the New Madrid Fault. Again, we're showing this here. This is the earthquake south of Africa. Okay? We're seeing that. We're seeing that. These are all tremors here. This is the 2.0 earthquake here. This is 10:57, or excuse me, not 10:57, 10:07 a.m. this morning. A 2.0 minor earthquake. This probably here was a 2.0 as well. Okay? This is 10:52 a.m. here. And the seismic activity continued. The seismic activity continued. Oh. Sorry I dropped you. We're back. We're back. That's Tiptonville, Ridgley, Tennessee this afternoon, this morning. This is this afternoon at Ridgley. Look at this. Ridgley, Tennessee, guys, the eastern side of the New Madrid Fault. Look what we're showing you here. This is important. Right here, this is showing you the earthquake down in the South Pacific. However, after that, look at this, tremor activity. Tremor activity. Over here, 1300 hours, 1 p.m. 1 p.m. Right here, this is 12:56 p.m. here. This appears to be a 2.4 earthquake here. But over here, this is 1:13 p.m. here, 1:14 p.m. here. It looks to be right here as a 2.3 earthquake here. Okay? This is just after 1 p.m. We'll come down here to 1:15. 1:15. What do we have here? What do we have here, guys? Folks, this again is a 3.5 earthquake. They cut off the top or bottom, and they cut off the top here. A 3.5 earthquake after 1:15 this afternoon. And it lasted about 20 seconds. 24 seconds. This right here, all the way out to here, is a secondary quake. A secondary wave, including 2.3, 2.4 earthquakes here. All the way over here. Folks, guess what? This is 1:24 p.m. this afternoon. Guess what? 3.3, 3.4 earthquake here at least. And it lasted a while. This is the duration. The thickness of this quake is duration. This lasted about 30 seconds. Maybe a little longer. What about this? 1:45 p.m. here. Over here we have 1:50. 1:50. Again, the top and the bottom of this sequence is cut off, meaning this is probably a 3.5, 4.0 earthquake here. This is on the eastern side of the New Madrid Fault, guys. The New Madrid Fault is moving. It's moving in a big way. Demon Catman says this means that this New Madrid Fault is preparing to have a very large earthquake. Dean, you are absolutely right. You are absolutely right. We're preparing for a much larger earthquake. We are preparing for a much larger earthquake. It's going to happen. I promise you it's going to happen. Okay? That's the eastern side. Let's go look at Tiptonville, Tennessee. This is right alongside the New Madrid Fault. Right alongside the New Madrid Fault. Look at this. Tremor activity all day long, except we're also interspersing some earthquakes. All this is tremor activity here. This is a 2.3, 2.4 earthquake here. This is 6:48 p.m. here. Adventuring Mike just gave everyone here, not everyone, but just gifted 5 Emergency Management Associates memberships. Mike, thank you so much. God bless you. Mike just gave E.J. Burgess, Wendy B. 47, Haiti Knight, Lorraine Blomgren, and his sword month-long memberships to Emergency Management Associate. Thank you, Mike. God bless you for that. We really appreciate it. You folks who just were gifted memberships, please tell Mike thank you. Please tell Mike thank you. This is wonderful. This means more and more people will get to see what we're showing you here. This means you're going to get full membership in our EMA family. Okay? You're going to be having members-only meetings. Yes, we're going to have members-only meetings very soon. Okay? Getting back to Tiptonville, Tennessee. This is the Federal Correctional Center, the Northwestern Correctional Center here in Tiptonville, Tennessee. Right here we have a 2.9 3.0 earthquake this morning. This is 7:13 a.m. this morning. 2.9 3.0 earthquake. Unreal, huh? Right here. Over here on the left-hand side of the blue line is 7:30 this morning. Right here. This is 7:27 a.m. this morning. A 2.3 earthquake here. Maybe a 2.4. And then more earthquake and tremor activity after that. You can see the tremor activity continuing. Right here. 9 a.m. right here. Right here, 9:01 a.m. we have a 3.0 earthquake. 9:01 a.m. we have a 3.0 earthquake. You can see these other minor earthquakes here and right here. Okay, this happens to be, well, there's actually a blue earthquake here that looks to be maybe a 2.8, 2.9 here, but right here. This concerns me. This is after 10 a.m. here. 10:06 a.m. here. This appears to be a 3.0 earthquake here. You can see all this energy here. This is a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake here. This is after 11 a.m. here. This is 11:08 a.m. here. It's going, guys. The pneumatic fault is very active. It's getting more and more active. Larger earthquakes are happening. Larger earthquakes are happening. Let's take a look at the Tiptonville Correctional Center this afternoon. Tiptonville, Tennessee. Look at this, guys. More tremor activity, but right here. Right here. This is a 3.2, 3.3 earthquake. This happened after 12:32 p.m. right here. 3.2, 3.3 earthquake here. Incredible. Adventuring Mike just gave us another $20 super chat. Mike, thank you so much. God bless you for that. We really, really appreciate that. That means a lot to me. God bless you for that. That's awesome. That's awesome. Does anybody here have any questions? You're seeing this firsthand. We've been talking about the pneumatic fault getting large earthquakes. This is happening. We're showing you this every week. Every day this is increasing. These earthquakes don't just start one day and disappear. They happen every day. These earthquakes happen every day. Does anybody have any questions? I showed you the East Coast because the Atlantic plate is pushing on the North American plate and driving it in the southwesterly direction. That's putting increased pressure on the pneumatic fault. But that doesn't stop there. The western side of the country, the western side of the United States is also having earthquakes, and that seismic energy is moving east. That energy is also putting weight over on the western side of the pneumatic fault, which is causing more and more earthquakes to happen. That's what's going on. That's what's going on, guys. Mike says he loves this program and wants it to grow and flourish. I do too. That's why we're here. Renee Steppe says if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. What, 150%? Folks, it's going to happen. We are starting to see these earthquakes every day. All the time. All the time. What's going on? What's going on? Thomas here in the chat saying the forecast of the Geology and Meteorology Department in Asia 10 years ago was estimated a big quake followed by a giant tsunami. Now that was 10 years ago. It still has not happened. But it's going to happen. It's going to happen, guys. We're seeing it happen. What I showed you tonight is real. It's real. Do you guys have any questions for me? I don't like to be a willy-nilly. I don't like to be a bearer of bad news. I'm not a doomsday person. I am not a doomsday person at all. But what I'm showing you worries me, and it should worry you and every one of you, every one of your families. Because this seismic energy is building up. We're going to have a major earthquake in Europe. We're going to have a major earthquake in the United States. We're going to have a major earthquake in South America. Fact. Fact. We're seeing seismic energy building up in Indonesia because that whole area in southwestern Pacific is a huge subduction zone. 7 different tectonic plates down there in the southwestern Pacific is building up as well. You saw a 4.5 earthquake in northwestern Australia yesterday. I shouldn't say northwestern, it was north central Queensland, Australia yesterday. It's moving. Folks, I just noticed another earthquake that just happened down in the South Sandwich Islands along the Antarctic Ridge. This was a large 5.0 earthquake in the South Antarctic Ridge area in the South Sandwich Islands. Let me show it to you right here. See that earthquake I highlighted in blue? That's a large 5.0 earthquake in the South Sandwich Islands. Again, I want to emphasize what's going on here. This earthquake here in the South Sandwich Islands is going to work its way up the Antarctic Ridge, and it will also go up here into the Mid-Atlantic area, in the South Mid-Atlantic, and it'll work its way up all the way up here through the North Mid-Atlantic, up here into Iceland, Svalbard, and up here towards the North Pole. That's going to happen. That's going to happen. Do any of you have any comments or questions for me? I try to come here every day to give you information. I try to also lift you up. I believe we need to lift each other up. At the end of my broadcast every day, I try to leave you with a scripture, or at least leave you with a message of hope and of happiness. I want to go over to the Acts in chapter 10. I want to go to chapter 10, verses 34 and 35. In verse 34 it says, "Then Peter opened his mouth and said, Of a truth I perceive that God is no respecter of persons. But in every nation he that feareth him and worketh righteousness is accepted with him." Every person who feareth God and worketh righteousness is accepted by him. All of us who are working out our salvation with Jesus Christ are accepted by our Heavenly Father. Every one of us. Each and every one of us. We are children of Israel. We are children of our Heavenly Father. Brothers and sisters, I bear you my testimony that I know God lives. Jesus is the Christ, the Son of the living God. I know that. It's through our obedience to our Heavenly Father and Jesus Christ that we are saved. Through our obedience and our righteousness. Every day we are working out our salvation. Every day. Brothers and sisters, I love you. I know the Lord loves you. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. Every day. Brothers and sisters, I hope to see you tomorrow night. Tomorrow is Thursday. We're going to be talking about the Cascadia area, the Cascade volcanoes, and the Cascadia megathrust earthquake. It's going to happen. It might be 5 years away, but I don't think it's very much farther than that. Guys, thank you for your attention here tonight. I want to thank you for your contributions here tonight. I want to thank you for sharing this program far and wide like you do. We're growing this channel day by day. I appreciate you all supporting this channel, whether you support us here on the Super Chat or whether you go over to PayPal or our post office box. Our post office box is 104 North Green Street, box 105, here in Morganton, North Carolina. MORGANTON, North Carolina. The zip code here is 28655. We appreciate you supporting us on our PayPal, helping us raise money to keep this program on the air. And this month, I am going to donate money to our hurricane relief to help those people that have been displaced or for any reason that have lost family members as a result of Hurricane Burl. We're going to make a donation probably within the next 2 weeks. I appreciate each one of you. I thank you for everything. Heidi Petrick is saying she's working here at Baker Lake Hatchery. Interested in a picture of Mount Baker? Absolutely. Absolutely. I do have a picture of Mount Baker from a long time ago. I would love to have one now. Thank you, Heidi, for that. Heidi Petrick has been a longtime friend of mine and a longtime contributor to this program. I appreciate her here as well. I appreciate each one of you. I appreciate all of our mods here. God bless our mods. God bless all of our EMA family. Thank you for being here. God bless you. God bless America. God bless each and every one of our countries around the globe. I hope you have a good night and a better tomorrow. If anything else happens tonight, we'll be back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. Until then, guys, take care. God be with you. God bless and protect you. God be with you until we meet again. We will see you on the other side. Thank you all. Thank you all. Also, guys, let's say a prayer for each one of us. Pray for everybody here. We all need it. My wife and myself are working for our kids. Our kids are having some problems. They need our prayers as well. Thank you for that as well. God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side. Good night, everybody. I love you very much. See you soon.